Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and this is going to be a brief little review for Btooom, episode 11. Another really action-packed, awesome episode in this series. We're picking up right where we left off with that epic cliffhanger of Ryota seemingly being blown to hell by one of Dante's BIMs. Now, this is pretty much followed up with Dante chasing down Himeko, and right out of nowhere comes Shiki Murasaki, that nurse that we've seen a few episodes back that was basically two-timed twice by Dante. She comes up behind him. He is shocked to hear her voice, and she stabs him with that little sort of scythe that she has before grabbing Himeko's arm, and they basically take off running. Now, Dante had this all figured out. He's been planting his remote-controlled BIMs all over the place, and he ends up getting them to go outside, where is basically his ideal setting for a showdown between the three of them, and he plans to take them all out. He basically figures, he's got one down with Sakamoto, and now he's going to take down these two very easily. He ends up taking advantage of the situation when Shiki grabs one of Himeko's bombs that she's activated and tosses it at him. It explodes, and he falls down on his backside like he's scared out of his mind. He tries to take off running, and sure enough, Shiki follows him. Now, at this point, we realize that he's already accounted for this probably happening, and he explodes one of his remote-controlled ones. Now, this sends Shiki down to what is surmised her doom, and it seems like, boom, now he's got two out of the three people down. He's planning ahead. He's basically thinking of taking out Himeko, then going to get Taira, killing him. He's already in a weakened state to begin with, so it should be rather easy for Dante. And he figures, boom, then he's off the island. But of course, right when he's got Himeko where he wants her, and she has basically started questioning the whole situation without Sakamoto being alive, what does she have to live for? She decided in the last couple episodes he was somebody to live for. She had changed her mind and didn't want to die anymore. And without him, well, of course, now she's changed her mind again. She basically gives in when Dante throws one of Sakamoto's crackers at her, and subsequently it hits her in the boob. It doesn't go off because, of course, Sakamoto did make it out by the skin of his teeth, like I surmised in the previous review. And this is just awesome because he comes walking in all pimp as hell, blood coming down from his head. And I love the use of the sort of rewinding time that they show in this episode when Himeko ran into Shiki before basically Dante tried to take her out, and then she intervened. And then we also see what happened with Sakamoto. He saw a hole in the floor and just barely managed to jump down in time before being taken out by Dante's planted remote bomb in that package of medicine. So you have him walking in, and he's basically telling Dante, you know what, you are out of all of your BIMs. You can't use mine. I have the one you threw at Himeko. Let's see where you're going to go. And essentially what follows is Dante leading merry chase through the ruins of this building until he gets to a room where he planted one of his remote-controlled explosives in the center of the floor under a pile of wood. Now, Sakamoto points out that this is pretty much the only place you could have hit it, and I did think it was stretching believability just a little bit that he had managed to find that room, find the explosive, as he's stumbling around, almost having been blown up by Dante earlier on, that cliffhanger. But he did so, and he ended up moving it. And of course, as Dante hits that button, boom, he almost blows himself to smithereens. And this is where you have a very interesting sort of debate go on between Ryota and Himeko. They are like, we have to do something about this guy. He's basically manipulated us and used us, and he was trying to murder us. We should take him out, take his chip, do what he was going to do to us, and leave him and forget him. And this is when Shiki shows up. Of course, yes, she has survived as well. She's been on this island for who knows how long. She's learned to survive. She's learned to not be found, not be killed. And she comes walking in just like Sakamoto did, pimp as ever. This guy is my responsibility. He's why I'm here. He is why I've been suffering. If anybody's going to take him out, it's me. It's my right. And that's the thing I love about this series is the realism. Of course, things are not that black and white. You can't just kill somebody who may have wronged you, whether, they've killed somebody you loved, they've raped you or hurt you, and plan for everything to just suddenly be sunny side up after that. Things don't go back to normal. There are definitely shades of gray in life. And you have Shiki getting down on top of him, planning to use that scythe and cutting his neck. And Dante's out of it. He's like, you can't help but feel sympathy for how weakened he is, even as bad as he's been. And I was really shocked to see Shiki sort of crying over this and saying, you can't apologize to me. You can't say this to me now after everything you've done. My just desserts should be killing you. But she decides not to. She spares him at the last minute. And what's more, what really shocked me was she actually plans on taking care of him, sort of nursing him, which is, of course, her occupation. But after what this guy's done, and she is actually giving in to him in a sense once again. But this time I think she's showing herself to be the honorable individual that she is. I guess, I mean, that's my, estimation of it. Who knows? And what follows after this is basically one hell of a long fan service moment. You have Himeko in the shower, buck-ass naked for everyone to see, and she's scolding Ryota from looking, don't be a pervert, don't watch me. And this is where the conversation unfolds that goes back to his earlier plan. Essentially, he's thinking about all those bodies he, Taira, and Himeko knew about only, and he wants to go back and get the chips that are in them, because, of course, since they're the only ones who knew about it, that would mean it would be easy pickings. They could get them, get that helicopter out to the island, and jump it, essentially get everybody off this island once and for all, and win the day. This is, going back a few episodes, he's had this sort of outlined plan. And essentially you have her running out excited about this because she thinks it's a win-win, and this is where, the towel falls and just hilarity ensues because, unbeknownst to him, she's still naked, and he looks around the corner, and then she calls him a pervert and belts him. But essentially they do that. They do go looking for these bodies, and it seems like somebody has beaten them to the punch. The only one who could possibly know about this was Taira, and he's not there. He's still bleeding, so far as they know, holed up in that building they left him at, very weakened and stuff like that. So essentially they track back to that place, and it's very ominous, the setting as they get back there with the fog all around, and basically Ryota goes up the ladder and he hears something. He pauses, and from off the screen comes this tracking BIM, and he immediately feels like everything has hit home. It was Taira all along. He must have been stealing those chips. We have seen him do that, and he seems to be the only one who had one of these kind of tracker type BIMs in the past. Now, I can only account for this in one of three ways. Either Taira has turned face and basically is doing this all for himself, kind of akin to what Date was doing, or perchance somebody beat them to the punch, found him, killed him, is now using his BIMs, or the third option, I'm almost certain we've seen somebody else having this type of BIM on the island in one of the previous episodes. I can't remember who it was for the life of me, and I could be incorrect, but that would be the third option, that either somebody killed him, he has turned face, or it is somebody else entirely that they aren't aware of. But in any case, we're basically left with this cliffhanger suggesting the next episode, episode 12, is to be the final episode, and this leaves me with a whole bunch of questions because you have so many loose ends still to tie up. Are they going to be able to do that in one final episode? And what I mean by that is, I think what I've heard is the manga is still unfolding, and that would have to mean they're going to go with an original ending that conflicts with the manga, and this isn't unprecedented. It has happened before with anime series, so it's not that big a deal, I guess, unless this is going to be like a mid-season cliffhanger and they're going to come back with a season 2 that's also 12 episodes. I really don't know. But you have Oda Nobutaka still out there. You have Date and Shiki, as I've said in this episode. You have that kid Kira, and most importantly, you have Tyrannos Japan. What was this all about? Are they going to get their just desserts? Are the people who have been sent to this island going to get revenge in some way, shape, or form? I do not know, and I really cannot wait to see where this is going to go. This episode had a little bit of everything for everybody, fan service included, and I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below. If you've seen it, what you thought of it. Were you on the edge of your seat as much as I was? How do you think they're going to wrap up the series? If you are following the manga, please don't give any hints that could be spoilery, but I'd love to hear from you what you thought of this episode, how you think these things are all going to tie in together in this supposedly final episode. And otherwise, that's going to be pretty much it for me, so I hope you're all doing well, and I'll catch you later. Peace.